And as 2025 draws to a close, the County Board of Supervisors holding their final public meeting of the year today. Joining me in Studio B, Sheriff Donny Youngblood for his monthly visit. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
And a happy holidays to you.
You as well.
Okay, let's start out, since 2025 is drawing to a close, some of the positives and things that to work on for 26.
Yeah, staffing levels have really increased. My recruitment team has really worked diligently. We've hired over 400 people in the last 2 years. So they've done a great job. Of course, we've lost some during that journey. But the other thing that sticks out is the amount of drugs that we've seized, the amount of drugs that we've kept off our streets from our kids being able to use those drugs is enormous, more than we've ever seen. Talk
about the difference between when you first started to now. That number that you mentioned to me during the break was incredible.
Well, I worked undercover for 4 years, and if you had a 5-pound case, that was a huge case back in the 70s and 80s. Today, it's 500 pounds, and we're 58, 99 come together and go to the East Coast, Northern California, Mexico, and so we're at a central location where a lot of drugs pass through Kern.
Talking about some of the cases, we just watched a report on the Maya Hernandez case. That has been something that has sort of stuck out, has been the crimes where kids actually see things that are happening. What has that been like for you?
It's been a horrible year. We've had a couple of homicides where the husband or boyfriend has killed the wife or girlfriend in front of their children. The officers are impacted dramatically. The children are impacted. The community, when they hear it, they're impacted. And we're seeing things, violent crime like we've never seen before, and it's really pretty frightening. The world we live in is frightening.
We also have seen a number of cases that have talked about trying to get the mental health diversion element has been entered into that. Most recently with the Zach Scrivener case, you've had the Fernando Jara, the gal out at Hart Park with the flag. What is your impression on that?
Well, we had drug diversion for years, and drug diversion is a free ticket for one time, and you get a chance to redeem yourself. In my opinion, mental health is different because of the crimes that occurred. I disagree with it, but I don't know a lot about the diversion.
Okay.
It's the DA's job, and I try to stay out of her lane.
Talk also, if you could, more about when it comes to jail space. And that obviously has been a hot topic regarding Lerdo, but now there has been the idea about sending prisoners, sending people over to Taft. How would the Sheriff's Department be impacted, if at all, and what does that really mean? What's that going to look like?
Well, first of all, we're not going to accept the prisoners and then give them into Taft because the county would attach an enormous amount of liability.
Okay.
In other words, whatever happens to the inmates would still be responsible for. But if the BPD can get the judges to sentence a certain number of inmates or let them book in Taft, it's going to impact the city. Actually, we're going to have less inmates at Lerdo. I don't know if it's legal to do. They're working on it. Really doesn't have a lot to do with the sheriff's office.
When you talk about the transportation element, what does that actually mean?
Well, you have medical, you have mental health, you have court every day. Back and forth to the facility, we run buses from Lerdo to the court, to medical every single day, all day long.
Which is a short drive for you.
Well, it's 15 miles. Taft's a little further than that, and I think that they're going to find that that's really cost prohibitive, but I'm trying to stay out of their way, and I hope the best for them.
And in those typical cases, I mean, what are we talking about as far as, I mean, I know you can't attach a specific number as far as sentencing goes, but are we talking about a long-term thing or a real short-term?
Well, it would be short-term for in Taft's case. I'm assuming probably a year or less. They want the ideal inmate, of course, because of the transportation. We still have a problem with the mental health issue in the jail where we have people that smears feces over their cell, all over their cell. We have people that try and hang themselves. Every day we go through this, and it requires eyes on, quite frequently, to keep them alive. And when they are successful in committing suicide, we're then financially responsible in the courts. They've held us liable. It's really a tough, slippery slope.
And is there any movement? Is there anything that you have heard perhaps off to the side that might result in an increase in space and staffing for your department?
Well, we have Max Mead still sitting empty. We had a plan to open Max Mead and the mega barracks, but the mental health aspect, DRC came in, required us to open a mental health wing, took about 20 of our staff members, so we really had to start over. So we're still working to, it requires, those positions for Max Mead and the mega barracks are unfunded. So it requires the county to agree to fund them, and then we have to find the people to go to work, and then you have to put them through an academy. It's a lengthy process.
When it comes to the state DOJ investigation, where are you right now in that?
Yeah, we've opted out, meaning we've told DOJ that come the first of the year, in the clause we have to renew, and we're not willing to renew. We think 5 years is enough. We've accomplished a great deal with DOJ. It's not all been negative, but we spent over $4 million, and we think the county is in compliance, and we think enough is enough. But we have a good judge that is going to be fair, and I hope he reads the case and comes back with a decision that I think is fair, and I think he will.
Is there some aspect of it that the DOJ feels that you still haven't accomplished?
Yes, there's a lot of aspects that they think we haven't accomplished. We think we have. That's part of the problem.
Okay, and when might you see some resolution in that?
Well, early January is the first hearing. I don't know whether we're going to have witnesses or whether the judge is going to just read the case, but we're really enthused. We have a Kern County judge who we think will be fair, and that's all we're asking for.
And talk about, we talked about, you mentioned the hiring aspects of everything. You have the new substations in Taft and the one out in Rosamond. How are those operating?
Well, the Ridgecrest substation is fully staffed with the exception of one who's still in field training. That's 15 deputies. Taft has 16. We have 4 that are in field training. 2 are off on medical leave, so that leaves 6 vacant positions that are assigned there, but the bodies aren't available. They should be back shortly, and through FTO, and they'll be fully staffed I think by the middle of the year.
Now, I said Rosamond and Ridgecrest. Have you heard any reaction from public out in that area?
Well, I've heard a lot of reaction from the public this year, and it's been more positive than ever. I get, you get all the negative complaints, and you have a certain number of people that are just haters, and it is what it is. But this year, we've noticed a lot of positive comments. People call me, thanking me, send me letters. That's encouraging. So this generation does a lot of things really well, a lot of things differently than we did, but that doesn't make it bad.
And you had mentioned the drug busts earlier on and whatnot. Have all of the ones within the department been Kern County Sheriff's investigation bust, or were they part of a bigger?
It's a combination. We've increased HIDA, and HIDA is several agencies combined.
Right.
We have brought our gang unit back, and they work hand in hand, and they've just really knocked it dead. I mean, I'm so impressed with the amount of cases and the amount of drugs that they've seized that will not see the streets of Kern County. And that's really important to us because people are dying every single day from drug overdoses. You mentioned the state DOJ pushing forward into 2026. We'll see how that plays out in court. But what else? Is there anything else that you're looking forward to, or that anything that's going to be implemented in the coming year? You know, I'm a positive type of person, and I've seen enormous change in the last 5 years. Not all bad, not all good, but the adaptability of this generation. I was talking to my command staff last week. We talked about the kids that are working patrol today. This is all they know. They don't know it was different 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And so it bothers us more than it bothers them. When people bring up the past and the way we used to do it, why don't they lock them up, throw the key away? It's a different world today. You can only have a certain number of inmates in jail. We're still under a federal lawsuit from the 80s, Anderson v. Kern, that caps us at a certain number, and we have to live with that. And the public doesn't understand all the nuances. It's very complex running a jail and running an organization the size of 1,400 people. All right. Sheriff Donny Youngblood joining us in Studio B. Best of luck in 2026, and have a great holiday. You as well. All right, we'll be right back.